monsieur tout le monde, jodi a c'est vendredi. Il disait, et puis temps pour conversation en Kabawea. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday at 10 a.m. Well, 10:03, and it is time for another episode of Rum Shop Talks. And it's a new year, and we are back in the Rum Shop. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Um, Hopefully, you got to see our new intro video. Kudos to my son Dimitri for Hey Kiwi, hey sis. Thank you so much, Dimitri, for putting our video together. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and a special thanks to my brother Natural Vibes for letting me sample one of his songs on his new album, 2020 Vision, which you can actually go download on Apple and also on Amazon Music. His stage name Natural Vibes, and so I'm super stoked to be able to use his music here. And so, if you guys remember the format for Rum Shop, we usually start with a culture piece, and then we also do a legal portion. And since it is the new year, I figured we would do one of those like reintroduce myself kind of videos for you guys. So, for the culture piece, I actually wanted to share with you my family's tradition for starting the new year. And you send questions on here. Let me know if this is something that you guys do. I don't know if every family has its own tradition, but for my mom, we start cleaning our house, you guys, like usually the second week in December. And it's an ongoing process, right? Because by the time New Year's come, your house is completely spotless. In St. Lucia, it was where the curtains were replaced and you got new sheets, and even you did the linoleum on the floors. And of course, I didn't do that here, but my family all joined in and we spent days cleaning up. And the rationale behind that, which is really what I love about this particular tradition, is that you get to start the new year with a fresh, clean start. It's like spring cleaning, but in winter. And it marks the way that your year starts and also sets the tone for what your new year is gonna be. And so, like I said, my family, we spent the all of New Year's Eve completely cleaning everything, reorganizing the cabinets, getting just really feeling so true. Yes, changing the curtains. Just really feeling that lightness that you get from having a clean house. And I have to say, what are we on? Like day 8 of the new year, and the house is still pretty clean. We're still pretty organized. Hopefully, we can keep it going for the whole year. And even if this is the first week of January, it's not too late for you guys to do the same thing too. So if you love the idea of a tradition where you get everything organized and you get everything clean and you get that feeling of renewal and freshness and cleanness, I invite you to borrow my family's tradition, and you could make it yours every year. So that was like what we did. That's our family tradition. Like I said, I'm happy to share with you. And for our legal portion of the day, what I realized, it's like I always tell you guys that I'm an estate planning attorney. But what does an estate planning attorney do? And more specifically, what do I do? So it's really cool because I get to do a lot of things. So first of all, reintroduce myself. My name is Jan Meyer. I am an estate planning, trust administration, and probate attorney in Dana Point, California. I think of myself as a family protection planning attorney, and I'm going to explain to you what that means and why I think of myself that way. So more often than not, the way I approach estate planning when a client comes in is I want to know what their goals are. What are you trying to accomplish? Why are you here? Because if you know your why, then we can work with that. We can actually make sure we accomplish that why. We can figure out what the goals are and accomplish them through estate planning, And almost always clients say to me, I'm trying to protect my family. Whether that is I want my children not to fight. I want to make sure that the assets that I have worked really hard and amassed in this life is protected and it's passed on to the next generation. I want to protect my legacy. All of those things for me falls under the realm of family protection. And so therefore, I want to know what your net worth is because that's important, but it's not so much the biggest piece of the pie for me when it comes to my estate planning. So that is my approach to estate planning. As much as I want to say I'm an estate planning attorney, I like to think of myself as a family protection planning attorney. Okay? And so what I figured, like, I would share with you guys what are the common services that we provide here at the law office of Jenny Meyer, so that when you hear someone talking about those things, you would think, "Oh, I know someone that can actually, like, serve that." So one of the most common thing that we do is we help people draft and execute their estate plan documents. What are estate plan documents? Those kind of documents, we're talking about last will and testaments. We're talking about trusts. We talk about advanced healthcare directives, doable powers of attorneys. We help people with drafting the documents that will, if there's a trust, drafting the documents that will add their property to the trust. So that is like one of the biggest parts of my practice. But I also do things such as what we call incapacity planning for young adults. And I actually got to do that yesterday for one of my clients, and it was really exciting. And as you can tell with the smile on my face, it was one of those things that kind of like set the year right. It was the first Sunday night had of the year. And this girl had just turned 18 at the end of the year. Her parents got in touch with me, and we created an advanced healthcare directive for her, a doable power of attorney, and a HEPA authorization, so that her parents, in the event of incapacity, could step in and act on her behalf. And the cool part was, while she's like, signing, her mom's like, "Is this the first legal document that you've signed since you turned 18?" And she was like, "Yeah." And her mom was so excited and took out the phone and took a photo, and it was like a big thing. And it was awesome to talk to a young adult and explain to her and start her on that process and explain to her how this all worked and to empower her in signing those documents. So we also do that as well. So if you have any 18-year-olds or know any parents whose children are turning 18, it's time to have that conversation and, get in touch with me. I'm happy to talk to them and explain why this is an important step that they should be taking. Something else that I do trust administrations. What are trust administrations? So when someone passes away and they have a trust, a lot of the times people think, well, I have a trust, that's it. When I die, there's nothing to do. That's actually not the case. There is a fair amount of things that we do when someone passes. We need to send required notices to heirs. We need to make sure all the bills are paid. We need to make sure that there's a transfer of assets from one spouse, if they're married, from one spouse to the next, from the settlers or whoever created the trust to the beneficiaries. And so that's all what we do in the trust administration process. And if there's any taxes to be filed, we help with that. So I become the point person for the trustee to guide them through the process of trust administration. I take care of all the legal things that need to be done, and I free up these people, because usually you find a trustee is a beneficiary of an estate, and if you ever lost someone, you know how difficult it is to internalize, to process the loss, while at the same time having all of this legal things that you have to do. And what I come in and do is take care of those legal things so that a person can focus on the processing of loss and grieving part of the process. And also part of that, we do probates. And so what's a probate? When someone passes away and they don't leave a trust around, or their assets are not, there's not beneficiary on the assets, he needs to go to the court, and we need to file a petition, and the court actually becomes the point person. Like, I'm here helping, but the court is involved every step of the way throughout the process of administering this estate. A lot of the times we need to have the court sign off on decisions that the executive is making. The court is the one who appoints the person who's going to administer the estate. And often enough, people think they can do this themselves, but having a lawyer involved, someone who knows what they're doing, helps to basically um, help with the efficiency of the process, make sure things are done right, and actually saves the estate money sometimes if we have to do a probate. So those are all the things that I do here at the law office of Jenny Meyer. So I'm not just here helping people draft their estate planning documents. I'm also here to help young adults usher them into the world of being an adult by getting them the proper documents that they need so their parents can kind of like, continue to help families who are grieving through that grieving process by taking care of the legal parts of the process that needs to be done so that they can focus on the grieving. I help with things like how many death certificates to order. So if you hear of anyone in those situations, definitely think of me. I am licensed in California, which means that I can service all of the state of California. I run a virtual practice, which means that we have all of the technology that will allow us to service people in an efficient way, no matter what part of the state they are at. And we have connections across the state, which allows us to, get deeds filed in counties that are, way up north, and all that good stuff. And so we also use e-filing for a lot of our processes. So definitely, even if you're not in Orange County, definitely think of me to be able to service your friends and your families. I wish you guys an absolutely wonderful new year. I know as of, it's like if you guys have been watching the news, things are not starting off all that great, but I look to this year with hope. I look to this year with a renewed sense that we can accomplish great things, that we can find ways to continue to be kind, find ways to continue to be united, to love and to care for one another. It's like that is the hope that I have for you. That is the mission that I'm going to undertake this year. I invite you guys to join us every Friday going forward for Shop Talks. We'll be bringing you guys new content. If there's anything, like I always say this, but please, if there's anything that you're interested in learning about, let me know. We'll be bringing on guests, so you won't be just listening to me talk the whole time. So definitely join us for Shop every Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, a happy new year, a happy Friday, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of Shop Talks. Bye. I think you're there. I know, I can't tell.